I stand in my backyard reception, my wedding dress shimmering under the soft glow of string lights. Everything feels perfect. The weather, the flowers, Ethan's easy smile as he chats with his college friends by the dance floor. For once in my life, I've done something right. Then Mom approaches, wearing that familiar smile I've seen 1,000 times. The one that never reaches her eyes. The one that always comes before something unpleasant, wrapped neatly in affection. "Valerie, darling, you look beautiful." She smooths imaginary wrinkles from my sleeve. "I need to tell you about our little plan." Plan? My stomach tightens. There shouldn't be any plans on my wedding day. At least not ones I don't know about. We've decided to give the car to Tessa. She says it lightly, as if she's commenting on the weather or complimenting the florist. My brain stalls. "What car?" "The Subaru, of course." She gestures toward Ethan's parents, who are standing near the sleek silver Outback still wrapped with a red ribbon, the $22,000 wedding gift they'd given us just hours ago. Tessa needs it more than two newlyweds with steady jobs. Over her shoulder, I spot my sister. Tessa stands about 20 feet away, her silver gown sparkling under the lights, probably costing more than my first month's rent. She catches my eye, gives a little wave, and jingles what can only be car keys. Guests laugh and dance around us, oblivious. "I don't understand," I manage to say, though I do. I understand perfectly. It's just another Tuesday in the Anderson family. "Sweetheart," Mom pats my arm gently. Tessa's still getting her career off the ground. "You and Ethan are established. It's just a car. Don't make this a thing." The warning in her tone is unmistakable. Across the lawn, Ethan notices my face, excuses himself from his conversation, and starts walking toward me, brow furrowed with concern. My stomach knots. It's that old, familiar ache, the feeling of being overlooked, expected to give things up quietly. I remember being 12, when Mom told me to give my bigger bedroom to Tessa. "You're older, you understand," she'd said. And I did understand. Even then, I knew Tessa's wants would always outweigh my needs. At 18, I worked 2 part-time jobs to buy a used Toyota with 120,000 miles on it. Meanwhile, my parents bragged about Tessa's academic success, never acknowledging that her freedom to study came from my exhaustion. Ethan has seen it all. The holidays where Tessa unwrapped the newest iPhone while I got a box of bath soaps. The dinners cooked around her favorite dishes. The vacations planned on her schedule. And now this, on my wedding day. Ethan reaches me, his hand resting gently on my elbow. "Everything okay?" he asks, though his eyes already hold the answer. Mom turns to a nearby cluster of guests. "Tessa needs dependable transportation," she explains to my old college roommate Madison, who looks completely lost. My sister's smug grin feels like acid against my skin. "It's just a car, honey," Mom says with a dismissive wave. My hands tremble, but my voice comes out steadier than I expect. "Excuse me a moment." I open my wedding clutch, a tiny beaded thing barely big enough for lipstick and a tissue. Mom watches, confusion flickering across her face as I pull out a sealed envelope. "You're giving away our wedding gift, Mom." The words slice through the low hum of conversation. Several heads turn. Ethan stands beside me, steady and certain. For the first time, I feel our love as something more. A partnership, a united front. Valerie. "This isn't the time or place," Mom hisses, her strained smile holding its shape. "When would be better?" I counter. "After Tessa drives away in our car?" I hold the envelope between us. "Did you even ask Ethan's parents before deciding to redistribute their gift?" James and Barbara Thompson glance over, confusion clear on their faces as tension ripples through the reception. Mom's cheeks redden. "This is a family matter." "Yes, it is," I reply evenly. "And Ethan is my family now?" My father approaches, concern etched into his expression. He opens his mouth, but, as always when Mom takes control, says nothing. I open the envelope and draw out a folded sheet. "This is a notarized document stating that no wedding gift can be transferred without my consent." My voice doesn't waver. "Ethan and I had it prepared last week." "You what?" Tessa screeches, car keys glinting in her fist. The reception stills, tension spreading like a spark through dry grass. Mom stares at me as if she's seeing me for the first time. Maybe she is. The document quivers slightly between my fingers. Her authority melts into disbelief. The air around us feels thick with silence. There's more, I say, my voice stronger now. Reaching into my clutch again, I pull out my phone. Tessa didn't just show up expecting our car. Tessa steps back, her silver dress catching the light. Val, come on. I unlock my phone and turn the screen toward Mom. She slipped into our garage last night. The photo shows Tessa posing beside the ribbon-wrapped Subaru, one hand on the hood, the other flashing a peace sign. The caption reads, "Finally got a ride that fits me." Dad steps forward, hands raised in a calming gesture toward Lee. She was just excited about the possibility, Valerie. Don't blow this out of proportion. The possibility? Ethan's voice sharpens beside me. The possibility of taking our wedding gift without asking? I swipe to the next screen. A text exchange between Mom and Tessa from 3 weeks ago. Mom's message reads, "We'll handle it at the reception." Easier to present as decided than to ask permission. Ethan's parents are already pushing through the small crowd that's gathered. Barbara's cheeks are flushed, her earrings catching the light as she shakes her head. James strides forward, jacket unbuttoned, brow drawn tight. "Catherine," Barbara says, "is this true? You told us this car was for Valerie and Ethan." Mom's smile returns, thin, rehearsed. "Barbara, James, we're just making adjustments based on need. Surely you understand that families share resources." "Share," I repeat, the word turning sour in my mouth. "You didn't ask us to share. You announced you were taking." Tessa steps up, her face settling into that practiced look of hurt she's used since childhood. "Why are you making such a scene, Val? It's just a stupid car." "If it's just a stupid car," Ethan replies evenly, "then why do you need it so badly?" The whispering has swelled into open tension. Guests on the dance floor have stopped mid-step. The saxophonist freezes, his instrument half raised, uncertain whether to play on. Mom leans close, her familiar perfume wrapping around me, suddenly sickly sweet. "You're causing a scene over nothing. Think of the family shame. Family shame." The words hit something deep. My therapist's voice resurfaces in my mind. Patterns continue until they're decisively broken. I've agreed with that truth for years without acting on it. But standing here in white lace, I finally see what my future will look like if I cave again. This isn't about a car. It's about respect, and the life Ethan and I are choosing to build together. I remember our pre-wedding talk, sitting cross-legged on the living room floor surrounded by half-packed boxes. "We need boundaries," Ethan had said, holding my hand. "Your family will keep taking until there's nothing left." I'd agreed with him then. So why is it so hard now? Because giving in feels easier than standing my ground. Because I've spent my life being the dependable one. The mediator. The daughter who always understands. Tessa seizes my brief hesitation. "Mom's right. You're embarrassing yourself." "We're not running a charity, Tessa," Ethan says. Not unkindly, just calm and firm. James steps forward, taking the notarized paper from my hand. He scans it, glasses slipping to the edge of his nose. "This looks legally sound to me," he says, returning it. From the corner of my eye, I catch Madison discreetly recording Mom's reaction on her phone. Our wedding planner glides through, the guests gently steering their focus toward the dessert table. Barbara places a steady hand on my shoulder. It's not heavy, just grounding. "Valerie, dear," she says softly, "what would you like to do next?" Mom's eyes narrow. She'd like to stop making a scene and act like family. "No, Mom." The words come easily this time. "I'm ending the tradition, the one where Tessa gets whatever she wants, and I'm expected to smile through it." I pull out a second envelope from my clutch, smaller and unmarked. This is a notice documenting unauthorized entry onto our property. Tessa went into our garage without permission to take photos with a car that isn't hers. Dad steps in quickly. "This is a wedding, not a courtroom," he pleads, his voice catching. "Exactly," I reply. "So maybe we stop confusing theft with love." The words linger, sharp, honest, and overdue. Mom's mouth opens, then shuts. For once, she has nothing to say. A hollow sort of victory settles in my chest as my eyes sting with unshed tears. Not from sadness, but from the sheer exhaustion of 31 years living this same pattern. Finally breaking it. Ethan's arm slips around my waist. He turns toward the band, still frozen in awkward silence. "Play something," he says. The saxophonist nods, and a soft melody drifts through the air, smoothing the edges of tension. Ethan leads me away from my family and onto the dance floor. "You okay?" he whispers. "I'm not," I admit. "But I will be. That car looks better on us anyway." The smile that spreads across his face makes every uncomfortable moment worth it. I can still hear Tessa's voice rising behind us, but it sounds different now. Fainter. Smaller. My mother's once commanding tone has lost its edge. They're just voices now, not orders, not laws. As Ethan and I sway across the floor, the guests begin to ease back into conversation. The storm passes, leaving quiet in its wake, but something inside me has shifted. I catch Barbara's eye across the room. She lifts her champagne glass in a silent toast. James stands beside her, giving a small, approving nod. For the first time in my life, I've chosen my own direction instead of following someone else's script. The weight of expectation slides from my shoulders. I stand a little taller in Ethan's arms as we reclaim our wedding, one slow, steady dance step at a time. 2 days later, the ping of my phone wakes me. Not Ethan's usual good morning text, but a flood of notifications. My stomach knots as I unlock the screen. Tessa's Facebook post glares up at me. "Some people love cars more than family. Praying for those who measure love in dollars instead of memories." The comments pile up. Friends, distant cousins, and of course, Mom. Praying for those who forget where they came from. Family should always come first. Ethan stirs beside me. "What is it?" I hand him the phone. His jaw tightens as he reads. "They're trying to rewrite history," I murmur, scrolling through more messages. A family group chat has exploded overnight. Cousins, aunts all weighing in. Aunt Deborah. "Valerie, we're all worried about you." Uncle Robert. "Weddings should be remembered fondly, not ruined by petty drama." Ethan takes the phone from my hand and sets it face down on the nightstand. "Let them talk," he says quietly. "We know the truth." My phone buzzes again. Madison has sent a link to a GoFundMe page. The title alone makes my stomach twist. "Left carless by betrayal. Help a sister start fresh." The description is even worse. My sister and her husband decided on their wedding day that they needed a second car, more than I needed my first. "Help me overcome this family betrayal and get back on my feet." "She's already raised almost $400, I whisper. Ethan lets out a dry laugh. "People love paying to feel part of the drama." I refresh the page. A new donation pops up. $15 from someone named Reality, with the comment, "Maybe get a job instead of a handout." A startled laugh escapes me. The sound feels foreign, almost rusty from disuse. When was the last time I'd laughed at anything involving Tessa or Mom? "We should ignore it," Ethan murmurs, pulling me closer. "It's exactly what they want, to drag us into their version of the story." My phone rings. The wedding photographer. "Linda." "Valerie," she says, her voice hesitant. "Your mother called me. She asked that I delete a few photos from the reception, specifically the ones of you by the gift table." My grip on the phone tightens. "I told her those photos belong to you and Ethan," Linda adds. "She wasn't pleased. I just wanted you to know. I'll upload everything to your secure cloud folder today, including the raw files." When I hang up, Ethan's already dressed, laptop open. "We need to document everything. Screenshots of the posts, the texts, the GoFundMe, all of it." I nod slowly, the pieces clicking into place. This isn't about a car anymore. It's about control. About the story they're desperate to tell. The one where I'm the villain, the ungrateful daughter who turned her back on family. Ethan pauses. I think we should change the locks just in case. They wouldn't just walk into our house, I say, though even as the words leave my mouth, I know better. Boundaries have never meant much in my family. Better safe than sorry, Ethan replies, already pulling up locksmiths on his phone. 3 hours later, the doorbell rings. Through the peephole, I see Mom and Dad standing on the porch, Mom clutching her purse so tightly her knuckles have gone white. They're here, I call to Ethan in the kitchen. He appears beside me, resting a hand on my shoulder. Ready? I take a steadying breath and open the door. Mom's eyes are rimmed red, tears threatening to spill. I can't believe my own daughter would humiliate me like this. Dad steps forward, hands raised in a placating gesture. Your mother hasn't slept since the wedding, Valerie. Neither have I reply evenly, but for different reasons. They follow us into the living room. Mom perches on the edge of the sofa like she might bolt at any second, while Dad stands behind her, his hands resting on her shoulders. After everything we've done for you, Mom begins, her voice trembling. All the sacrifices, all the support. This is how you repay us? That familiar wave of guilt rises in my throat, but this time something stronger rises faster. Clarity. What sacrifices, Mom? What support? My voice is calm, steadier than I've ever heard it. When I needed braces, you said we couldn't afford them. But Tessa got hers the same year. When I worked 2 jobs to pay for college, you co-signed Tessa's student loans. You gave her money for a down payment when I saved for 3 years to buy my first car. Mom's mouth opens, then shuts again. When I got into Cornell but couldn't afford to go, you said we had to be practical. When Tessa got into UCLA, you took out a second mortgage. When I started my business, you told everyone it was just a hobby. When Tessa wanted to try photography for 6 months, you bought her a $2,000 camera. Each example lands like a stone in still water, sending ripples of realization through the room. My whole life, I've settled for less so Tessa could have more. But not this time. Not on my wedding day. Not with a gift that was never yours to give. Mom's expression borders on disbelief. She's never heard me speak like this. Truth is, I've never allowed myself to. The words feel strange yet perfectly right on my tongue. This isn't about a car, I continue. It's about respect. Something I've never demanded but have always deserved. My phone vibrates on the coffee table. Another text from Madison. Stay strong. I've got your back. Almost at the same time, Ethan's phone pings with a message from his parents. Dinner at our place tonight. We want to show our support. Mom's gaze flicks between our phones. Who's that? Are you talking about us to strangers? They're not strangers, Ethan replies evenly. They're our support system. People who understand boundaries. Dad clears his throat, uneasy. Valerie, we just want to settle this quietly. Family issues should stay in the family. I agree, I say calmly. And Ethan is my family now. This isn't you, Mom whispers. Someone's turned you against us. I rise, exhausted by the endless loop. I need you both to leave. Her eyes widen. We drove all this way without calling first. Exactly, I cut in. Another boundary crossed. Family doesn't treat family this way. Mom fires her last weapon. You're really saying we're not family anymore? I meet her gaze steady. That's exactly why something has to change. For the first time, uncertainty clouds her face. Her old tactics, tears, guilt, manipulation, no longer hold power. Dad glances between us, a flicker of understanding softening his features. Maybe even respect. When the door finally shuts behind them, Ethan pulls me into his arms. You did it. My phone buzzes again. A message from my therapist. Emergency session available this week if needed. We need to document everything, I say, moving toward the laptop. Every text, every post, every call. Ethan nods, already queuing up the wedding footage. We'll save it all, just in case. Together, we begin drafting an email to the entire family, laying out firm, unshakable boundaries for any future contact. No surprise visits. No public humiliation. No using other family members as messengers. What if they ignore it? Ethan asks. Then we decide what comes next, I reply, saving the draft. I'm not ready to hit send yet. We spend the evening building contingency plans. What to do if the harassment continues. If they show up at work, if they contact Ethan's family again. For the first time, I feel like we're ahead of the chaos instead of scrambling behind it. The following week, I fold another sweater and tuck it neatly into the open suitcase on our bed. Ethan stands by the closet, pulling down a stack of jeans for what he calls the Great Escape. It's not an escape. I correct him gently, no edge in my tone. It's a strategic repositioning. The Pacific Coast Highway calls, a spontaneous week-long road trip we've talked about for months, but never taken. Now the timing feels right. We're not running away. We're moving toward something better. Did you install it? I ask, nodding toward the garage. Tracking devices in place, Ethan confirms. Dashcam's recording too. If anyone tries anything, we'll have proof. The contested Subaru, our wedding gift that Mom and Tessa tried to claim, has become more than a car. It's a symbol of our boundaries, of our marriage, of standing together. I never thought our first major test as a couple would involve protecting our own property from my family. Good. I check my phone, confirming the scheduled email that will deliver our boundary statement to everyone tomorrow morning. We'll live well instead of fighting, I say quietly. That's the best revenge. Ethan pauses beside me. You're sure you want to do this? Feels like we're sneaking away. That's exactly what we're doing, I admit, touching his arm. But not out of fear. Their emergency isn't ours anymore. While Ethan finishes packing, I double-check the home security system. New security cameras now cover the front door and driveway. The locks were changed 3 days ago, and our mail's being forwarded to a P.O. box. It feels like overkill, but with Mom's behavior escalating, we didn't have much choice. Do you think they'll realize we're gone before the email goes out? Ethan asks. I glance at my phone, 3 missed calls from Mom already today. They'll notice, I say. But by then, we'll be watching the sunset in Big Sur. The doorbell rings. My body goes rigid. Ignore it, Ethan says, zipping the suitcase shut. It rings again, followed by sharp, persistent knocking. My phone vibrates, a text from my coworker, Lisa. Lisa, your mom and sister are here at the design firm. They're asking for you. Should I tell them you called in sick? My stomach drops. They're at my workplace. What? Ethan takes the phone, reading the message that crosses every line. Another text arrives before I can respond. Lisa, your mom's crying. Tess is telling everyone you're destroying the family. I sit down hard on the bed, the room tilting slightly. Mom's putting on a show for my coworkers now. Ethan's jaw tightens. They're trying to manipulate you through your job. Then another message, Lisa. Catherine just told my supervisor you're having a nervous breakdown and the family's worried. Wave of heat surges through me, anger replacing the shock. She's trying to destroy my professional credibility now. While I call my supervisor to clear things up, Ethan checks his phone and curses under his breath. The GoFundMe, he says, showing me the screen. It's hit $3,000. Tess has added an update claiming we've threatened legal action to silence her about family abuse. The doorbell rings again. Ethan parts the blinds. It's your dad. Through the door, my father's voice carries, Valerie, please. Your mother's not well. This stress could put her in the hospital. You need to talk to her. Thanks for watching. To cheer. I quickly sent an email to HR documenting the incident at work, attaching the security camera screenshots Lisa had forwarded, showing Mom confronting my coworkers. My voice stayed calm when I finally replied to my father. Dad, if Mom needs medical attention, call 911, not me. She's your mother, he insists. And I'm your daughter, I answer evenly. That doesn't make me responsible for her emotional manipulation. After he leaves, Ethan's phone buzzes with messages from an unknown number. Your wife is turning you against your family. Is that the kind of woman you want to spend your life with? Ethan blocks the number without hesitation. Ready to go? He asks. I take one last glance around our home, wondering what shape it'll be in when we return. Let's go. The Subaru hums to life as we drive off. I resist the urge to look back. Their emergency isn't my emergency, I remind myself. Half for me, half for Ethan. 2 days later, at a seaside hotel with windows framing the Pacific, Lisa sends more updates. The security footage captured Tessa's entire workplace spectacle, including the moment she knocked over a potted plant after my supervisor refused to give her my schedule. Your mom tried contacting my parents, Ethan says, setting his phone down. Dad shut it down immediately, said he's not getting pulled into manipulation tactics. The boundary email worked. 3 cousins have reached out, saying they're starting to question Catherine's version of events. The GoFundMe has been flagged for review after I submitted evidence disproving Tessa's claims. That evening, my father calls again. His voice is softer this time, tired, maybe even remorseful. Catherine, maybe we went too far. I hear him whisper to her before realizing I've answered. Valerie, he says carefully, your sister's facing some consequences at work. That scene at your office got back to her boss. That's unfortunate, I reply, realizing I actually mean it, despite everything. I don't want Tessa to suffer. I just want the cycle to end. Could you call her? Smooth things over? Dad asks. No, this isn't my mess to clean up, I tell him. After we hang up, I post a photo of Ethan and me watching the sunset from a scenic overlook. No caption, just an image of peace. Within minutes, friends and coworkers flood the comments with heart emojis and kind words. Madison messages privately. Everyone sees what they're doing. We're all Team Valerie. The contrast couldn't be sharper. Our calm coastal retreat versus their desperate chaos as they scramble to control the story. We spend our days watching waves crash against the cliffs, wandering quiet beaches, and exploring little seaside bookshops and towns. That night, an anonymous email arrives. I've seen this pattern for years. Your mother did the same to her own sister back in the 90s. Stay strong. Some of us see it clearly. I show Ethan and he pulls me close. We're doing the right thing, he says. As we lie in bed listening to the distant surf, I realize how much stronger we've become. Our marriage has weathered its first real storm and held steady. I love you, Ethan whispers in the dark. I love you too, I reply, feeling years of tension lift from my shoulders. A soft chime interrupts the quiet. It's a notification from Tessa, unusually brief. Family is complicated. For the first time, Mom hasn't added a comment beneath it. The first crack in their united front. 7 days later, my phone buzzes again. Mother's voice spills through the speaker, every pause perfectly calibrated for effect. I'm your mother, Valerie. How could you abandon me like this? Her tone trembles in all the familiar places, the ones she uses when she wants something. After everything I've done for you, I set the phone on the kitchen counter. Ethan looks up from his coffee, one eyebrow raised in quiet question. The usual, I say, sliding my finger across the screen to delete the message. Apparently, we're tearing the family apart by not answering calls. Ethan's phone lights up next. Family emergency gathering this Saturday, he reads. Your father sent this to everyone. Says we need to come home immediately. A text pops up from my cousin Janet. You should really come. Your mom is beside herself. Whatever happened can be fixed. I've got one from your dad, too. I show Ethan the message that arrived moments later. Valerie, I think you've misunderstood some things. Come Saturday and we can talk like adults. There's a video from Tessa, Ethan says, tilting his screen toward me. My sister stares into the camera, her expression a solemn vow. I just want to say I'm sorry if I hurt you. The rehearsed cadence is unmistakable. Mother's words flowing from Tessa's mouth. Family should forgive each other. That's what Mom always says. I close my eyes and breathe deeply. The real emergency is that their control is slipping. The messages don't stop. Aunt Linda calls about Mother's concerning state. Uncle Robert emails about doing the right thing. My cousin Brad texts. Blood is thicker than water. Each message carries the same undertone. Come back. Apologize. Restore the old order. Then Mother escalates. A formal letter arrives. Legal letterhead making it look official. She's threatening to contest your inheritance from Grandma, Ethan says, scanning the document. Claims you're not of sound mind right now. My phone buzzes again. Texts from old high school friends. Heard you're going through some stuff. Your mom's worried sick about your mental health. Mother's newest Facebook post flashes in my notifications. Sometimes the people we love change so much we barely recognize them. Prayers for my eldest daughter during this difficult time. Tessa follows with her own post. When someone's personality changes completely, it's often a cry for help. Family intervention might be the only answer. The final blow comes when my cousin forwards an invitation to my parents' wedding anniversary party next month. An elegant script reading, "Come celebrate the healing of our family." It would be so easy, I whisper, staring at the flood of messages scattered across our kitchen table. Just go. Smile. Pretend it never happened. Make it all go away. Ethan sits beside me, his hand warm over mine. What is it, though? What? Will it really go away? Later that evening, Ethan looks up from his laptop. Do you think a complete cutoff is necessary? Maybe limited contact with boundaries? The question catches me off guard. You're the one who said it. I hear myself. I know. I support whatever you decide. He closes the laptop. These are still your parents. Your sister? I replay Mother's tearful voice message in my head. The familiar ache spreads through my chest. That old childhood sense of desperate responsibility. What if I'm overreacting? I whisper, admitting the fear that's been dogging me. What if this is just me being dramatic about a car? Ethan sits beside me on the couch. Let's think this through. Not from anger or pain, but from clarity. We spend hours unpacking every manipulation, every guilt trip, every time I was expected to give while they took. We trace the pattern back to my childhood. How Mother always cast herself as the victim whenever her control was questioned. It's not about the car, I say at last, the realization settling into my bones. The next morning I draft a letter, not angry or vengeful, but surgical in its precision. To my family it reads, after careful consideration, I am establishing these non-negotiable boundaries. No unannounced visits. No gifts with strings attached. No social media posts about me without permission. Any violation will result in 6 months of no contact before a relationship can be reconsidered. Family therapy will be required, with a therapist of my choosing, to remove any room for misinterpretation. I attach documentation, a timeline of incidents spanning 20 years, from childhood to the wedding day car episode, the wedding video that captures Mother's manipulation in full context, and letters from friends who witnessed the pattern over the years. Financial records prove I've supported myself entirely since I was 19. Meanwhile, Tesla continued to receive assistance. There's also a letter from my therapist, anonymous, explaining the dynamics of family scapegoating. With Ethan beside me at the DMV, we transfer the car registrations fully into our names. We're not responding to the so-called emergency summons. As we prepare to deliver our response, I tell Ethan, we do this on our terms. The package arrives at my parents' house Thursday morning, 2 days before their planned emergency gathering. Copies also reach every extended family member who'd pressured us to reconcile. Mother calls within the hour, her voice sharp with disbelief. What is this? You can't possibly expect. These are my terms, I say evenly. I'm not angry. I don't want revenge. I want peace. Tessa posts a mocking screenshot of my boundary letter on Instagram. By evening, she deletes it after several relatives comment that her post proves my point. Uncle Robert calls next, his tone subdued. I had no idea things were this bad. Valerie. Aunt Linda texts soon after. We won't be attending the intervention on Saturday. The most unexpected call comes from my father. I've been reading through your timeline, he says, his voice quieter than I've ever heard it. There are things here I didn't see happening under my own roof. A pause. We should have done better by you, Valerie. 2 days later, Mother leaves a voicemail. Her voice sounds smaller than I've ever heard. I might have been unfair sometimes. I just wanted the best for both my girls. Ethan forwards me Tessa's latest Facebook rant. Must be nice when Mom stops defending you after 30 years of always taking your side. The so-called family emergency gathering is canceled. The anniversary party invitations are quietly revised. No mention of reconciliation. The threats of legal action over my inheritance vanish without a word. 3 weeks go by without a single call or text, the longest silence of my adult life. On a bright Sunday morning, Ethan tosses me the keys to our Subaru. Where to? He asks. I slide behind the wheel, adjust the mirror, and catch the reflection of a woman who finally recognizes herself. Anywhere, as long as it's forward. We drive along the coast, windows down. The car that once symbolized my family's control now carries us toward freedom. The irony isn't lost on me. In losing a family that demanded my constant surrender, I found myself, the road stretches ahead, endless with promise. Later, I stand in our garden, fingers deep in the soil, planting rosemary beside the thyme. 6 months have passed since the wedding, and here we are, Ethan and I, in our cozy cottage outside Portland. Miles from the chaos we left behind. The graphic design business I started 3 months ago already has more work than I can take on. Our rescue dog, Pepper, lounges in a patch of sunlight, her silver muzzle resting on her paws. The security system we installed after moving in rarely gets used now. "Coffee's ready," Ethan calls from the kitchen window. Saturday mornings on the porch have become our ritual, along with evening walks with Pepper and Sunday pancakes, where we compete to make the most ridiculous shapes. I brush the dirt from my hands and inhale deeply. Our home smells of coffee, fresh earth, and peace, not the constant tension I grew up with. The mail arrives as I wash up. Ethan sorts through the stack, bills, magazines, then pauses at a pale blue envelope. "It's from your mother," he says, a note of hesitation in his voice. My chest tightens for a moment, but the feeling fades quickly. Let me see. Inside is a card with flowers on the front. My mother's handwriting fills the inside. "We miss you. Family should forgive." I read it once, smile faintly, then tear it cleanly in half. The same dismissive phrase she used at the wedding. But my reaction couldn't be more different. No anger burns in my chest. No tears threaten to fall. Just calm certainty. On our mantel sits a framed wedding photo, the moment of confrontation frozen in time. Mom's shocked face, Ethan beside me, the envelope trembling in my hand. A year ago, that picture would have filled me with shame. Now it reminds me of the day I finally stood my ground. "You okay?" Ethan asks, watching me drop the torn card into the recycling bin. "Better than okay," I answer truthfully. The woman who spent 3 decades being the responsible daughter, the fixer, the family peacekeeper, she's gone. In her place stands someone who knows her worth beyond being useful to others. I've found more healing through intentional living than any therapy ever gave me. Boundaries don't destroy families, they define them. That evening, we celebrate what we jokingly call our boundary anniversary with takeout from our favorite Thai spot. Ethan raises his glass. To freedom. To peace, I add. Our new friends, Jamie and Mark, join us for dessert. These friendships, built on mutual respect, feel refreshingly easy, free from the emotional weight that once drained me. My career has flourished, too. The occasional pang of loss still surfaces on birthdays or holidays, but it no longer rules me. "You know what I've noticed?" Ethan says as our friends leave. "You stand taller now." Last week, a coworker confided in me about her manipulative sister. I shared my story without bitterness, recommended the resources that helped me, and watched understanding dawn in her eyes. I've started contributing anonymously to an online support group for others breaking generational cycles. It feels like purpose growing from pain. The next evening, we drive along the Pacific coast in the same car that once caused so much conflict. Now it represents freedom instead of betrayal. I roll down the windows, letting the salt air fill my lungs. I used to think home was where I grew up. I tell Ethan as we watch the waves crash against the rocks below. I spent years trying to earn my way back to a place that never truly wanted me. The holidays are coming, but for the first time, I don't feel that familiar dread. The past isn't gone, it's simply contained. We pull over at a coastal overlook, where the sunset paints the horizon in bands of orange and pink. I hold the car keys in my palm, feeling their weight, the weight of ownership. Not just of a car, but of my own life. "Family isn't who you're born to," I whisper as Ethan takes my hand. "It's who stands beside you when the truth finally comes out." Beyond us, the horizon stretches endlessly, full of promise. Have you ever had to draw a line with family just to protect your peace? Valerie learned that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is set boundaries. What would you have done in her place? Share your thoughts below. Subscribe,